Hello and welcome to today's September 18th second stimulus check update and second stimulus package update. Today I want to share where we're at in regards to stimulus checks and the stimulus package negotiation. I want to walk you through what's going on and why it appears that we are still moving in a positive direction. If you're a subscribed member of my community, then welcome back. And if you're not, consider subscribing right now. Okay, the problem solvers proposal drew praise from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. They said it's a reasonable middle ground while urging them to include liability protection for businesses. The Problem Solvers Caucus proposal is still on the table. It hasn't been fully rejected, but Nancy Pelosi is pushing back against it. It needs to either be officially made a bill so that it can go to the floor and be voted on, or it needs to be officially rejected so that Nancy Pelosi can continue to push for the $2.2 trillion bill. There is a way to go around Nancy Pelosi, but it most likely won't happen because it would cause too many bad feelings inside the Democratic Party. As of right now, she is demanding a lot of money with zero details in writing on what it is she wants. That may be the reason most people aren't taking the $2.2 trillion package seriously. Now, the Problem Solvers bill, although it was a $1.5 trillion bill, is actually already a $2 trillion bill. It is written in such a way that an automatic $500 billion stabilizer kicks in if the economy hasn't recovered or the coronavirus situation worsens. It would trigger an automatic third stimulus check so that we're not having to do this month in and month out. But Nancy Pelosi's bill does not include automatic triggers. In fact, the $700 billion of extra money she wants doesn't go to the American people. It just goes to state governments. Now, Republicans are pushing back because this doesn't help the people directly if the economy doesn't improve. Now, the only way that I could see Republicans getting on board and signing Pelosi's new bill is if it helps states with stuff that only has to do with the coronavirus, or they can justify showing where that money will go. Right now, no Republican that I have read about wants to bail out a state that is having issues that had nothing to do with the coronavirus. When asked if he was disappointed that the proposal from the Problem Solvers was not immediately accepted, Representative Reed of the caucus said, "I think our proposal triggered a change in the conversation." He noted that the coronavirus talks were stuck in gridlock, and at least now folks from the House, Senate, and White House are indicating that they're willing to have a conversation and get back in the room. I agree with that. I think that this actually was a catalyst for getting those discussions going again. Now, according to sources, President Trump was happy with the Problem Solvers bill of $1.5 trillion, but he did indicate that he's actually willing to go higher. So maybe there will be some negotiation of a number between $1.5 trillion and $2.2. Maybe it will fall halfway between. Now the House of Representatives is doing something totally different than they've normally done in order to try to pass a bill. Typically, they draft a bill, they vote on a bill, and then they send it over to the Senate. The Senate then votes, and then they send it up to the President of the United States. However, that has not worked in the past. So what it looks like is that the House of Representatives are actually trying to preemptively work with President Trump and the White House to get a bill that they know is going to pass in the House and in the Senate. And so that way there is no back and forth like we saw with the HEALS Act and the HEROES Act. There is no dead on arrival bill. They want to get it right this time, and so now they're trying to pull in the White House and President Trump so that they can get this thing done. President Trump said, "I like the larger amount. I've said that. Some of the Republicans disagree, but I think I can convince them to go along with this because I like the larger number. I want to see people get money." President Trump continued, "We should have an agreement. People should be helped, and they should be helped as rapidly as possible. I think it's going to happen." This is from an interview where President Trump was asked about the stimulus. Okay, now if this new way of going about it works, we will likely see a stimulus package come out that is going to land somewhere between 1.5 trillion and 2.2 trillion. This strategy and negotiation is going on right now between Secretary of Treasury Steve Mnuchin and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. And so far, there's been no name calling and no saying that these negotiations have been a waste of time. So it appears that this got the conversation going, and that conversation is heading in a good direction, and it has the support of the White House and President Trump. President Trump yesterday signed an executive order giving $13 billion to U.S. farmers to help keep the food supply in the U.S. steady and strong. He has said that if a bill is not brought to him by late next week, he has threatened executive orders and that he will send out on his own these second stimulus checks direct to the people from leftover money from the CARES Act. If I could speak to President Trump right now, I would tell him, do the executive order. Use that money that's sitting idle and get it out to the American people. Do not wait on Congress. And then you could subtract that from whatever bill they come up with next week. That's what I would say to President Trump. Okay, now Congress really needs to act because the unemployment that was granted because of President Trump's executive orders, that reallocated FEMA money is depleting quickly. And in some states, it's already run out. So sadly, it seems that President Trump's executive orders, although it helped millions and millions of families across the United States, is running out of steam. And that's why I believe President Trump is trying to apply significant pressure to Congress to get this next deal going, right? We need to see another round of stimulus checks to the people. We need to see unemployment handled. We need to see help with rental assistance, right? We're over $20 billion behind in rent to landlords. There needs to be something for landlords, schools, food. So something needs to happen. Now, if you wouldn't mind, will you give this video a like? I spend several hours doing research to put this together for the community, and that's the only way that YouTube decides whether to share these videos or not. And please share on social media. I know that this is going slower than 100% of you want and 100% of me want, right? Like, this is going too slow. But based on what I'm reading, I know that this is why you guys come to my community. It does seem to be making progress, and it does seem to be heading in a positive direction. So I'll let you know more as I know more. Lastly, I just want to say that my heart and prayers go out to our fellow brothers and sisters that are dealing with Hurricane Sally and also with the fires in California and Oregon. Now, as we go into the weekend, I probably won't do another update unless there's something to actually update. But I do want to remind you that you are amazing. Please never forget that. I appreciate you being in my community, and I'll see you on the next video. Have a good weekend.